People, Deluded, I'm back again. Now, in relation to transfer news, we all know 99% of it is BS, and especially in relation to, sadly, the COVID-19 epidemic. We don't know how the world of football, specific to, well, all of it, but specific to financials and transfers, we don't know how they're going to react. On one hand, you're seeing, regardless, you're seeing the Neymars and these sort of players linked with moves. You're inclined to believe these are, you know, the top end of transfer fees. And when you're hearing leagues are being suspended, obviously tickets are not being purchased, TV rights are on the line, and all of these things, we don't know how they're going to react if there's still going to be money, because we're hearing that, we're seeing that, but we don't know how they're going to react. We also hearing teams are going to tighten the purse strings because of what's happening, the knock-on effect. We also heard the latest now is, you know, swap deals might become the new thing. So we don't know what is going to happen, who's got money, who's trying to do what. What teams have to do is try and react in any situation and scenario. But with that being said, there's some transfer news in relation to Arsenal. The first is Camavinga. Now, apparently we want him, the 17-year-old Rennes centre midfielder. He's a baller. He's got the world at his feet. Problem is, apparently he's got his heart set on Real Madrid. Apparently Zidane wants him, and apparently Madrid are in advanced negotiations for such. He's 17, you know, he's not played that many times as a young player, but I can understand the pull of wanting to play for Zidane and Real Madrid. I mean, Real Madrid, you know what Real Madrid, biggest team between them, Barcelona, United, for me, the biggest teams in the world. So that's the pull. Zidane, now if you're a young Frenchman, even more so, the pull of Zidane or working with a world-class player in his day is going to pull you. Obviously, we know with Real Madrid, no matter how good you are, you've seen players that are better than him at that stage. And what I mean by that is in the peak of their powers and stuff, struggle. Because when you go to certain clubs, it's about more than being a footballer. So will they have time for him to develop and stuff? You've seen Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo get praise and criticism. But that might be something that entices him. Because arguably in my lifetime, Real Madrid haven't really been doing this youngster thing. Maybe they're paying for it because of Hazard prior to his injuries in different form. Ronaldo going and really just aging players. I mean, they've still got a number of stars, but Modric ain't going to be around for a while, for example, and whatnot. And it just feels like stagnation. This could be something that entices him, because when you look at potentially Martin Odegaard being involved in next season, Asensio's not that many years older than him, he's in his 20s. You've obviously got Vinicius Jr., you've got Renier coming now, another Brazilian lad, you've got Rodrigo, you've got a bunch of young players, man, and if I haven't mentioned them, they're elsewhere. He's a bit older than him, but a couple of years as well, but you've got Valverde, so it could be a thing where youth could be utilised and whatnot. I mean, my honest, non-biased advice would be come to Arsenal, of course not. I'd like him to come to Arsenal, but mine would be, and again, I don't know him and whatnot, but I would say stay at Rennes. Stay at Rennes or go to a Dortmund or something where you can still develop away from the pressure, because these moves are going to happen for you. You know, if he backs himself to go to Madrid and be a success, I'll back him too, go and do that. But, you know, it might be sensible to stay at Rennes for a couple of years, develop, because these teams that are on you now, they're still going to be on you, especially if you keep improving. So who knows, man. So it seems like Real Madrid want all our targets, because, in fact, why I say that about Camavinga, apparently there is conflicting reports, because some reports say Zidane's first midfield priority is Paul Pogba. So yeah, and you can imagine Rennes will probably want 50 or so million for him. Real Madrid can do it. Pogba's probably going to be a similar fee to what he left Man United for, maybe a bit less. And I don't know what Real Madrid other areas they want to address. Pardon me. So that seems like a big outlay on two midfielders without outgoings. Like, I've seen Bale signed a new deal, but he's someone that they might look to move on. You know, Rodriguez probably be moved on. You've seen Ceballos linked with a move, and there might be a couple of other players allowed to leave, people. Moving on and keeping on with Zidane and Real Madrid. Apparently Zidane has said that he wants his countryman Dayot Upamecano at centre-half at Madrid. Now, Upamecano's been linked with Barca and Madrid, probably puts Arsenal out the window. You know, but, you know, I hope that's not true, but I thought I'd mention that. I don't know how valid that one is, but Upamecano's going to have a decision to make. He's been linked with us, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Man United, Barcelona. There's many moves he could make, people. Really and truly. Now, we've been linked with Coutinho, and he is on the books of an agent called Kaya Jaratkin, who, you know, with his relationship with Sanye, we've seen linked with a number of players. We've heard Arsenal looking to exploit that. We know Kaya Jaratkin's an Arsenal fan, and when he's at the games, that's going to add even more fuel to the fire. But he's offered his own opinions in general. He has said, "The fact I'm an Arsenal supporter is not a secret. I don't have any preference where the players go. I don't want to push someone to one club or another. Everything is a possibility. There's a lot of speculation, but I can genuinely explain to you, we have not spoken about transfers or anything like that. No one has the right feeling. Everyone wants to stay safe, stay positive, stay healthy, and get back to training. That is what everyone is trying to do. All my boys are concentrated on getting through this period and getting back to normality. It becomes very difficult to say I'm going to spend 100 million on a player. Apologies for that. He said I'm not. It becomes very difficult to say I'm going to spend 100 million on a player. I think you're going to encounter a moral issue in this. Is it morally correct when others are suffering? And this might be what football needs, in the sense of transfers might go back to normal sort of thing, people. You know, I would love Coutinho at Arsenal in some capacity, because I think he's a player we need. I know the age, people might look at the age and the outlay and all of these things, but I think age is irrelevant, because I think Coutinho is a baller. Finances are irrelevant if it can be done in sensible terms, because I think he is a baller and he will be a success here, people. We've also been linked with, well, according to Fabrizio Romano, who seems to have a decent record in terms of credibility, he says we're still in talks with Kazawa and are pushing to get him on a free at the end of the season. The latest club I saw linked with him was Juventus, so we'll have to see. And, you know, unless I don't think Tierney would go, but you'd imagine unless Tierney or Kolasinac, one of the two go, it wouldn't make sense to bring in to have 3 left backs, 4 if you count the fact that Saka can play there. It wouldn't make sense. So that could be someone that's moved on. We've also been linked with Dries Mertens, according to Dello Sport in Italy, which probably is nonsense. I know he's a free transfer, but it doesn't make no sense for us to go for him, people. So there's that. Moving away from that, apparently Julian Laurens of SPN has said the biggest difference between Arsenal and some of their Premier League peers is the tactical work Arteta is demanding from his players despite the shutdown. You've heard he's still sending them videos, GPS tracking, and he's still, specifically to videos, sending them length clips, and he's watched games of what they could have done, what they've done well, and stuff like that, people. So yeah, I'm happy for that, because obviously Arteta's got his health and things. I'm happy for, you know, the players obviously to keep their minds occupied as well. Obviously, I'm encouraged to hear something like that, saying that Arsenal's doing that, because if the season gets started tomorrow, Arsenal have the most work out the top 6, or members of the top 6, because we're not technically there in terms of league positions right now to do. It's all fun and games, but is that going to equate to, you know, us doing things in the league is a different thing. Moving away from that, and people, by the time this video comes out, you will notice I'm having some extreme difficulties with cameras. So it's going to be a bit patchy. The camera is telling me one of the memory cards, full memory. This one, full memory. So we're playing games, people. So I'm obviously going to have to use Adobe to put them all together. So please forgive me for the patchiness. But finally, people, Aubameyang, or specifically the president of the Gabon Footballing Association, has questioned whether Aubameyang will win honours that his talent deserves if he remains at Arsenal, and he's urged him to secure a contract with a more ambitious club. And you know, we can't be mad at that, because we're all saying ourselves we want Aubameyang to stay, but it's selfish. You've got to, you know, if we looked at it non-biasedly, if he does have interest from legit clubs, you know, and he can get a respectable wage, maybe even a boost on his wages and a legit chance of honours considering the age he's at, he's got to go and do it. He's got to go and do it. So really it's nothing that we haven't already said to ourselves. But the man himself has said, I don't want to say Arsenal aren't ambitious, but Arsenal don't have ambitions as high as other clubs as far as Europe is concerned. And that's 100% facts. So if Pierre could secure a contract with a more ambitious club, he'd definitely find his place there. On an individual level, we all consider him to be among the best players in the world. But the advice I give to him is to continue to work and attract the attention of the biggest and most ambitious clubs. Aubameyang is a world-class player, but for him or anyone else in London, in Europe, who hasn't won a major honour, football is a collective sport. Right now, he's at Arsenal and he's won nothing there. So it's a collective failing. And what can we say? He's won nothing. The top 4 isn't a trophy, but the immediate carrot was, you know, we're going to get back in the top 4. Hasn't happened. So you can't disagree with anything he's saying, people. You can't, because he's won stuff at Dortmund. But, you know, if I was Aubameyang, considering that there's reasons to stay at Arsenal, stability and all of these things. But if there's a legit chance to win trophies and you have even a small percentage of you wants to go and do it, you've got to do it. Because what you don't want is 35, you've got regrets. Could I have won Champions League? Could I have done this? You'd have to obviously find peace. But if I was a footballer, I always tell you, look, there's 2 things. I would want no regrets, and kind of going on with regrets, I would want it to be a thing where anything I've done, whether I've moved somewhere and I've flopped, moved somewhere and I've been a success, signed this deal or that deal, it's obviously you get advice, but it's because I've wanted to do it. I haven't let man push me in another way and all of these sort of things. My rights and my wrongs have been for me. And I want the same for Aubameyang, of course. And he's right, we are collectively failing. Because reality, I'm not nothing to do with Arteta or the players. Arteta's doing his thing. But if we're really honest and we look at it non-biased, we're nowhere near a top 4 team. And we're praising players for doing the basics, stuff they should have been doing 5 years ago. Stuff Arteta shouldn't have to tell them. Improvements, Arteta shouldn't have to come in and show videos and all of these things to improve you. It shouldn't happen, people. But it is where it is. Aubameyang really and truly, even if you disregard ability and whatnot, and you look at some of the good players, you look at Saka and Martinelli, they could be real good players in 5 years. Aubameyang don't have 5 years. They could be good players in 2 years. 2 years for Aubameyang, how old is he? It's good for them because they'll be in their early 20s. Where is he? So it does feel like a bit like Henry in that when we moved to the Emirates, we had a young squad. As a club, we're collectively going in a different place to potentially where his ambition and where he should go, sort of thing. So it is what it is in that regards. And he's gone on to say, all Gabonese people see Aubameyang at this level where he can now end his career at a major club. And above all, beyond individual trophies, to bring home a major competition. Oba has the habit of saying that if club honours could come, that wouldn't be bad. But that he could also settle for personal accolades he's won as well. As I said, he's a world-class player. And to be fair, I don't have hope in Aubameyang staying personally, people. But that last paragraph gives me hope in the sense of if Aubameyang is saying club honours would be great, but he doesn't mind personal ones, then obviously that's of benefit to Arsenal because he can keep winning the Golden Boot and all of these sort of things, or being in contention for that. If he's stable here, if his family are happy, not just at Arsenal but in London, and he's comfortable in his working environment, then that gives me confidence that he will stay. We'll never know. It's in the balance. Because for me, if I'm Aubameyang, I'm in no rush, truthfully, to sign a new deal. Because every week that you delay these things, and especially with the COVID thing, which makes it irrelevant, Arsenal's position becomes weaker. And then Arsenal are in the case of, do they stick or twist? Do they send out a clear message that we're not doing what we're doing with Alexis and Ramsey and stuff? We're selling, man. Because arguably, Alexis was a quality player, but at the time when he left, he was starting to clearly decline in hindsight. Aaron Ramsey, under Emre, was becoming marginalised. Aubameyang's not that, he's still here. So arguably, he is more vital at this period, collectively, to the periods that all these players left as well. That would send a statement. Arsenal have to send a statement in which that weakens us. Do we have money to go and get another striker that can immediately give us 20 league goals to get it? Or do we stick and twist and be like, no, we've got to give him that. We've got to give him that. And whatnot. He's fully within his rights to want a salary if too close to Mesut Ozil's or thingies like that. And any other player that's negotiating deals, I'm not saying everyone deserves a Aubameyang's deal because they don't, but they've got to look left and right at people. El Nene's on decent wages, Mkhitaryan's on wages, Kolasinac, really at faces a case of being third choice left back, if not sold, is on 100 bags a week. So if you're an agent really trying to get your best deal for your client, or if you're a client, you're looking at the structure of these wages here and you're thinking, yo, I can do something for myself here. So he's got a difficult decision to make. Personally, I think Aubameyang's gone purely because putting myself in his shoes, there is a case of me wanting to stay. I'm loved by Arsenal fans. I might not get this love elsewhere at this time in my career. I might go somewhere, play a year and get moved on. I might be more disposable and short elsewhere. And I'm comfortable in London and all of these sort of things. I'm adored by fans. I'm comfortable in my working environment. I'm the captain. I can see myself calling it a day here. And I want to help Arteta get back in the thing. I hear that. But at the end of the day, the same day, you got to be cynical. Aubameyang owes Arsenal nothing. Owes us not a damn thing. He's done his job. Look at it, I've done my job. Since the moment I've come here, all I've been doing is scoring goals. We've arguably got weaker as a team since I've come here, further away from top 4. I'm not getting any younger. Barcelona and these teams legitimately want me. I might not play every week. I might become more disposable, but there's a genuine chance of honours. Away from honours, to say I played for Real Madrid and Barca, that's something to tell the grandkids and things. And, you look at it, he's played for a number of good clubs. He's played for Milan, he's played for Arsenal, he's played for Dortmund, he's won stuff with Dortmund. The Real Madrid and Barca things as well is something you wouldn't want to turn down if I was him. But I'm not him. Only him and his agents and people close to him and his brothers know specifically what he wants to do and things like that. On that note, I don't think I've got anything more to add. I would like to say, like I said, apologies for the patchiness, people. Technology is really shagging me, but it's not going to stop the grind. Away from that, though, and finally, Conor Gallagher, who's on loan at Swansea from Chelsea and is having a decent career, he said He was asked about the best players he's faced. He said, in terms of reputation, it would be Wayne Rooney. But he said, but I remember in the FA Youth Cup, Emil Smith-Rowe gave me the runaround. So that's a game that sticks out for me. So that's big praise for Emil Smith-Rowe, because he's had a decent spell at Huddersfield. You know, there's a case for him potentially to go out on loan again somewhere. If he's not going to... Arteta doesn't believe he's up to the standards next year. But hopefully our young man keeps developing now. That really didn't have any relevance, but it was in my notes for stuff I wanted to speak about, so I did. On that note, for the 5th time, apologies for the patchiness, people, but you're going to have to put up with it. You know I bring out a lot of content and a lot of stuff for you, so I'd like to think I'm good for this mistake. But on that note, people, DG, I'm out. I'm out. Enjoy the rest of your day and whatever you're doing. I'd like to think you're checking out DG vids, but most importantly, stay at home, stay safe. Yeah, man, it's dangerous out there. I'm out.